So if you have a problem and you're ruminating or worrying, you can sort of keep saying, this is not my problem, and just stop doing the problem. This is one way of dealing with it on a kind of cognitive level. You can kind of keep stepping back from it. So you keep stepping out of it. So you stop doing, stop engaging in the thoughts, stop ruminating. You could be like, act as if you didn't have a problem. What would you be doing with your time instead? And just try that. Do you feel better for a moment when you do that? Because that ruminating and trying and solving doesn't often help. It just kind of sustains it. When you ruminate or worry, you kind of make the problem more real in a way. You make it kind of fixed. You kind of make how you see yourself in the problem kind of more fixed. It's not when we worry or ruminate, we don't kind of open it up and we don't see things going well. We don't see us changing and going, oh, actually, I don't care about that problem. We don't see the other person involved if it involves another person. We don't see them going, actually, you're fine. We just have we make this fixed view of ourselves and a fixed view of the problem. And so we just kind of keep building on that, and it doesn't actually help. So that fixedness is kind of against your true self, really, because everything is in flow, really. You change day to day. Your cells change every 7 years or whatever in your body. Your cells replace every 7 years. Your cells are changing all the time. Your emotions are coming and going. Your thoughts are just pop up from day to day. It's just we tend to sustain them. We tend to have the same thoughts as yesterday. But really, you're just like nature. You're like the waves. You're like the seasons. You're like the trees. Like your thoughts come and go. Your energies come and go. So stepping back into that kind of feeling can relieve some of the worry sometimes. Just stop doing the worry. Act as if you're not worried. So that was one way. That's a kind of mindfulness way to deal with worry or rumination. You're kind of stepping out of the worry. You're not engaging in the thoughts, kind of stepping back for them. Another way that we can kind of deal with that is what I call bodyfulness. So mindfulness is often seen as just being a cognitive thing where we step back from thoughts. Actually, if you do enough work in mindfulness and meditation, you'll start to realize that below the thoughts are your emotions, and those emotions are made up of energies that come and go in the body. Nerve impulses, electronerve impulses, or heart rate, breathing, all those things are below the thoughts, below the feelings. So maybe you need to express something to yourself. So instead of worrying out this problem, taking this feeling and working on it in your mind by ruminating, you could go into the feeling below, so you could get to know that feeling. Maybe you need to express something. Maybe you need to be sad. Maybe you just need to sigh or yawn. Sometimes it's some very basic stuff like that. Sometimes emotions don't stick around. They can come and go for about 90 seconds. They flow through. If you think about a toddler or a young child expressing, they can soon be out of a crying or a bad mood. They can soon be out of a bad mood and be playing again. So maybe you need to express something to yourself and get to know that. I call that bodyfulness, that knowing yourself and giving yourself what you need. Another way to work with that is more of giving yourself what you need, which I call kindfulness. So this is the compassion element in Buddhism, as well as the mindfulness of stepping back from the thoughts, and the bodyfulness of being able to feel all the things that are going on inside you. Kindfulness might be giving yourself what you need, but you're giving yourself what you need from a kind of wise parent place, or a really strong, wise mentor, or even you might be your idea of God. So you're giving yourself what you need, but what a wise parent would give you. So you're not just giving yourself loads of sweets, or just allowing yourself to just run wild. It's kind of that kind of parenting that's kind of like, I'm there for you to hear what is going on for you, but I'm not going to slip into that kind of worry as well. So if you imagine when a kid is upset about going to sleep, If the parent starts getting annoyed at that, then the parent has kind of slipped into the kid's mode as well. They both drop to the same level. A wise parent will not get into that level, drop into that level. They will be able to be there for the kid at their level and say, I understand, tell me what's going on for you. But they won't go into that. The kid's mood won't affect theirs so strongly. So yeah, that could be called kindfulness. So you're giving yourself what you need. That might be just the sitting with yourself, the bodyfulness, but it might also be maybe you need to take yourself off to watch a film, or go to the gym, or go to the spa, the sauna, go for a walk in nature. It's that kind of giving yourself what you need that will support you. And another way you might work on worry and ruminating is expressing to someone else. So these other ways have been getting in touch with this expressing to yourself, expressing the emotions outwards. This is continuing on with that, but maybe you need to express to someone. Maybe you need to say something. This can be a great way to develop freedom. So this feeling that you can express to people, whether you're sad or happy, is a great way to feel free. But just know that it can be a bit of a trap. We can often get in our minds that we have to get a certain result out of something. We have to have a conversation with someone and we have to win. They have to come round to our way of thinking. That's not necessarily the best way. The best way would be that I can express myself if I choose to, but I don't have to. And it doesn't rely on the outcome of the other person. So I just know I believe in what I'm saying, and I can express it when and if I need to, but I don't rely on the other person to say the right thing. I don't need them to go, oh, you're right, Chris. You've got it all right and I was wrong. They can disagree too, and I can take that on board. So yeah, don't get stuck in this kind of I need to express to someone, I need to tell someone how I feel, and I won't feel okay until that's done and until they agree, because that's a stuckness, that's a limitation you're putting on yourself. But there is something great from being able to express to people, and often it's not how you think it will be. When you express to people, you might actually be saying, actually, when you did that, I felt this way, I didn't like it. How do you feel about that? And there's a kind of curiosity about it. Often when we have a disagreement with people, we often think, I'm going to tell that person, I'm going to shout at them or whatever. But if they are in our lives, and there's probably a reason why they're in our lives, and these people we often have in our lives that cause us to worry about stuff, there's a kind of two things often going on there. We often are annoyed at them, but you also care about them or need them. So by finding this new way of expressing that's kind of open, is asking questions about them, but also feeling free to say how you feel without needing to have judgment on it, like you're wrong and I'm right, is very freeing. So yeah, these are all ways of freeing yourself up to be free from worry and rumination. But the key is with any of these techniques or methods, the mindfulness, the bodyfulness, the kindfulness, the expressing to others, which we could call expressiveness. Yes, let's do that. I'm going to call that expressiveness. So the key with these is not to take the same solving energy that you had when you were ruminating into those activities. We can often think that we need to overcome something or defeat something. That's like taking that worry into a conversation with someone, saying, I've got to express to this person, I've got to get this certain result, they've got to say this thing before I can let it go. And sometimes that's fine, but you don't want to be limited by other people. They might just not be in the right place at the moment to give you what you want. So don't take that solving, don't take that needing to overcome, that doing energy into it. Be open. And of all these methods, just remember that stepping back, if you can access that thing even for a few moments where you step back from solving, doing, and you just think for a moment, I can follow the breath, or I can be okay in myself for a few moments. That is the magic. That is the secret place that you can always go to when you have rumination or disagreements. You can always dip into that place, and it's an amazingly powerful place. It's kind of like you step back into this place of unlimitedness. This sounds a bit strange until you've experienced it, but it's almost like if there's a situation happening in the room and you go from being this person that wants to get a certain result, say something and get a result out of the other person, get them to say something, you kind of step back for a few moments and you just become the room. You're kind of watching and experiencing everything. You kind of become the people in there too. You become the air, the walls, become the street, you become everything. You're just part of this experience that's happening now. And you can just dwell in that for a few moments, and it kind of recharges you. It's a place of peace and safety. And then when you want to engage, you can, but if you can always go into this place of just calm, you kind of don't need to get a result out of people. You are less bothered about things. It's kind of a superpower, really, which we can all access. So do try and dip into that. Stop doing the worry, keep stepping back from the thoughts, and just dip into those moments of peace, doing nothing. Can you follow the breath for 3 seconds as you exhale, 6 seconds? Can you follow the in-breath? The sounds, the feeling of letting go with that exhale. And that rejuvenating, that expansive in-breath as if it's filling all of your body. Just dip into that and then see how you feel.